Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Good evening, everyone. Let me ask you something. When you think about success, real, lasting success, what do you see? Is it a grand moment? A big breakthrough? A defining, life-changing event? That's the picture most people have. But let me tell you the truth, success doesn't start with the big moments. It starts with the small ones, the quiet decisions, the unnoticed actions, the tiny steps. You see, everyone wants the glory, the applause, the final destination. But few are willing to walk the road that gets them there. Why? Because that road isn't glamorous. It's built on small, deliberate steps that no one celebrates, that no one sees. You want to change your life? Start small. Want to reach your dreams? Take one step today and another tomorrow. And let me remind you of something: small steps taken consistently lead to big changes. The power of a single step, think about it. Every skyscraper you see started with a single brick. Every marathon that's ever been run began with one step. The great things we admire didn't happen all at once. They were built piece by piece, moment by moment. Your journey is no different. The goal may seem impossible right now. The dream may feel too far away. But if you can take one step, just one, you've already begun. A beginning is half the battle. Consistency over perfection. Here's where most people stumble. They think they have to be perfect. They believe every step must be flawless. But let me tell you something, progress beats perfection every time. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to stumble. That's part of the process. But as long as you keep moving, as long as you take that next step, you're still in the game. The secret isn't in being perfect, it's in being persistent. Momentum changes everything. Here's the beautiful thing about small steps: they create momentum. You take one, then another, and another. Before you know it, you've covered more ground than you ever thought possible. And the best part, momentum doesn't just move you forward, it changes you. With each step, you grow stronger. You build confidence. You prove to yourself day by day that you're capable of more than you imagined. The ripple effect: never underestimate the power of your small actions. One step can set off a chain reaction. One small habit can transform your entire life. When you show up every day, when you put in the work, even when it feels insignificant, you're building something greater than yourself. So, what's your step today? Let me challenge you. What's the one small step you can take today? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it's writing a single page. Maybe it's choosing to believe in yourself just a little more. Whatever it is, take it. Because the magic of small steps is this: they add up. They build on each other. They take you places you never dreamed you could go. Remember, the journey to greatness isn't a sprint. It's a series of small, steady steps. Take them, trust them, and watch as those small steps lead to big, life-changing results. Success begins with the small, unnoticed steps. It's easy to look at people who have achieved greatness and think they got there through one monumental moment, one big break, or one defining leap. But that's not how it works. The truth is, behind every success story, there are countless small actions, quiet decisions, and deliberate steps that lay the foundation for what you see today. The small steps are the work that no one celebrates, the moments no one talks about. And yet they're the most important part of the journey. Think about it. Every skyscraper starts with a single brick. Every masterpiece begins with a single stroke of a brush. Every marathon that's ever been run started with one step. The same applies to your life. Whatever your goal is, whether it's starting a business, achieving a personal milestone, or simply becoming a better version of yourself, it begins the same way, with a single foot forward. But here's the catch. That first step can feel insignificant. It's easy to dismiss it. You might think, what difference does one small step make? It's in these moments that many people falter. They look at the distance between where they are and where they want to be, and it feels overwhelming. The mountain looks too tall, the journey too long, the goal too far away. But let me tell you something, the only way to climb a mountain is one step at a time. You don't need to conquer it all at once. You don't need to have it all figured out today. What you need to do is start. Take the first step, no matter how small it may seem. Because once you do, something incredible happens, you create momentum. Momentum is a powerful thing. When you take one step, it encourages you to take another and then another. Suddenly, you're moving forward. And with each step, you're building confidence. You start to realize that you're capable more than you thought. That's the beauty of small steps. They don't just move you closer to your goal, they transform you along the way. Now, let me tell you something else. Consistency beats perfection every time. You don't need to get it right every time. You don't need to have all the answers or execute every step flawlessly. You just need to keep showing up. Because success isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. Think about the power of showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. Even when it's hard, even when it seems like nothing is happening. Those are the moments that matter most. It's easy to take action when you're motivated, but it's the actions you take when you're tired, frustrated, or doubting yourself that truly define your journey. Over time, these small, consistent actions compound. Just like drops of water can carve a path through stone, your small steps, taken day after day, can create changes far greater than you ever imagined. And the best part, these changes aren't just external, they're internal too. With every step you take, you're not just moving closer to your goal, you're becoming the kind of person who achieves that goal. You're building discipline, resilience, and a sense of self-belief that no one can take away from you. That's why small steps are so powerful. They don't just change your circumstances, they change you. But let me be honest with you, the journey won't always be easy. There will be days when you question whether it's worth it. Days when the steps feel too small to matter. But I want you to remember something. Every small step counts. Even on the hardest days, as long as you're moving forward, you're making progress. This is where faith comes in. Faith in yourself, faith in the process, and faith that all those small actions are leading you to something greater. Because they are. You might not see it right now. You might not feel it yet. But one day you'll look back and realize that every small step you took was a piece of the puzzle, a brick in the foundation, a stroke in the masterpiece of your life. So don't be afraid to start small. Don't underestimate the power of one tiny action. And don't give up when the journey feels slow. Remember, the road to greatness isn't a sprint, it's a steady climb. The people who achieve their dreams aren't the ones who rush to the finish line. They're the ones who show up every day, put in the work, and take it one step at a time. Your journey is no different. Whatever it is you're working toward, whatever change you want to make in your life, it starts today. Not with a giant leap, but with one small, deliberate step. Take it, and then take another. And before you know it, those small steps will lead to big, life-changing results. Consistency beats perfection every time. It's a simple idea, yet one that holds incredible power. Too often, people get caught up in the notion that they need to be perfect to succeed. They think every action must be flawless, every decision must be right, and every move must be calculated. But perfection is a myth. It's an illusion that keeps us paralyzed, afraid to move forward because we fear we won't measure up. The truth is, perfection isn't what brings success. Success comes from persistence. It's about showing up day after day, no matter how you feel, no matter how messy it might get, and no matter how far away the goal seems. Consistency is the quiet force that propels you forward when motivation fades, when obstacles arise, and when doubt creeps in. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present. I think of a runner training for a marathon. They don't start by running 26 miles on their first day. They lace up their shoes, step outside, and maybe run 1 mile or even just half a mile. It's not about sprinting to the finish line in one go. It's about building endurance, strength, and confidence over time. That's the essence of consistency. Every step, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction. But here's the thing about consistency, it's not glamorous. It doesn't make headlines or earn applause. No one sees the hours you spend practicing, planning, or preparing. No one notices the late nights, the early mornings, or the sacrifices you make along the way. Consistency is often invisible, but it's also irreplaceable. It's the foundation on which every great achievement is built. Think about it. Imagine planting a seed in the ground. You water it every day, making sure it gets the sunlight it needs. For weeks, maybe even months, you see nothing. It's easy to get discouraged, to think the seed isn't growing, that your efforts are in vain. But beneath the surface, something incredible is happening. Roots are spreading, strength is building, and one day, a sprout breaks through the soil. That's what consistency does. It nurtures growth, even when you can't see the results right away. The same is true in life. Whatever your goal is, learning a new skill, building a business, improving your health, or chasing a dream, it takes time and effort. And yes, there will be days when you feel like giving up, days when you're tired, frustrated, or uncertain if it's all worth it. But those are the days that matter most. Because when you keep going, even when it's hard, you're proving to yourself that you're stronger than the challenges you face. Consistency isn't just about action, it's about mindset. It's about choosing to show up again and again, even when it feels like progress is slow. It's about trusting the process, knowing that every small effort adds up over time. You may not see the results immediately, but that doesn't mean they're not happening. Take a moment to reflect on the power of compounding. In finance, small, consistent investments grow exponentially over time thanks to compound interest. The same principle applies to life. Every small action, every choice you make compounds over time to create big results. It's not about making giant leaps, it's about taking steady steps forward. But let's be clear, consistency doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes or face setbacks. In fact, you will. And that's okay. What matters is how you respond. Do you let the mistakes derail you, or do you use them as opportunities to learn and grow? Do you give up when things get tough, or do you dig deep and keep going? Consistency isn't about never falling, it's about always getting back up. Think about some of the greatest achievements in history. The discoveries, the breakthroughs, the moments that changed the world. None of them happened overnight. They were the result of countless hours of work, dedication, and persistence. The people who achieved them weren't perfect, they were consistent. So how do you build consistency in your own life? Start small. Set achievable goals that you can stick to every day. Focus on progress, not perfection. Celebrate the small wins along the way because they're the building blocks of your success. Surround yourself with people who support and inspire you. And most importantly, stay committed, even when the path gets difficult. Consistency is a choice. It's a decision you make every day to keep moving forward, no matter what. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Because over time, those small, consistent actions lead to something extraordinary. They lead to growth, to transformation, and then to the realization of your dreams. So remember this, you don't have to be perfect to succeed. You just have to be consistent. Keep showing up, keep putting in the work, and trust that the results will come, because they will. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a step toward the life you want. And in the end, it's not perfection that matters, it's persistence. Keep going. Momentum is built one step at a time. It's not something that appears out of nowhere, and it doesn't come from a single giant leap forward. Momentum grows gradually like a tiny snowball rolling down a hill, gathering more snow as it goes. The more you keep pushing, the bigger it becomes, and before you know it, it's unstoppable. When people see someone making big moves, they often think, how did they do it? How did they suddenly become so successful? But there's nothing sudden about it. What they don't see are the countless small steps that came first. The moments of doubt and perseverance, the decisions to keep going when no one was watching, and the steady, deliberate actions that built that momentum over time. Starting is always the hardest part. That first step feels heavy because there's no motion yet. Think of trying to push a car that's stalled. At first it feels impossible. You lean in with all your strength and it barely budges. But then with enough effort, the wheels start to turn, slowly at first and then a little faster. Suddenly you find that what once felt impossible is now manageable, even easy. That's the power of momentum. The key is to take that first step, no matter how small it seems. Maybe it's writing the first line of your book, taking the first walk around the block, or saving your first dollar. It might not feel like much, but it's not about the size of the step, it's about the fact that you're moving. Action creates momentum, and momentum keeps you moving. But here's what you need to know. Momentum doesn't maintain itself. It requires consistent effort. You have to keep pushing even when it feels like you're not making progress. There will be times when the path feels steep, when every step is a struggle. That's when most people give up. But the ones who keep going, who keep taking those small steps, are the ones who break through. Think about the story of the tortoise and the hare. The hare starts fast, confident in its speed, but it burns out quickly. The tortoise, on the other hand, moves steadily, one step at a time, never stopping. It's not the hare's speed that wins the race, it's the tortoise's momentum. That steady, consistent motion is what carries it to the finish line. Momentum doesn't just move you forward physically, it transforms you mentally and emotionally. Each step you take, each small victory you achieve builds your confidence. You start to believe in yourself more. And that belief becomes fuel for your journey. Momentum creates a feedback loop. The more you do, the more you believe you can do, and the more you want to keep going. But here's the beautiful thing about momentum. It doesn't just affect you. It affects everything around you. When you keep moving, when you stay consistent, you inspire others to do the same. Your momentum becomes contagious. People see your progress, your dedication, and they start to believe they can do it too. That's why it's so important to guard your momentum. Distractions, doubts, and setbacks will try to slow you down. Life will throw obstacles in your way, and there will be moments when you feel like stopping. But momentum doesn't stop unless you let it. As long as you keep moving, even if it's just a tiny step forward, your momentum will continue to grow. It's also important to celebrate the small wins along the way. Momentum isn't about waiting for the big finish, it's about recognizing the progress you're making right now. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Celebrate those moments. They're the fuel that keeps your momentum alive. Let's be honest, there will be times when you feel like you're not moving fast enough. When you look at others and think they're miles ahead of you. But here's the truth, it's not about how fast you're going, it's about the fact that you're going. Momentum is a personal journey. It's not about competing with others, it's about being better than you were yesterday. Momentum is also forgiving. If you stumble, if you pause, it doesn't mean you have to start over. You just have to start again. The progress you've made isn't lost. It's still there waiting for you to pick up where you left off. That's the beauty of momentum. It's always ready to work for you as long as you're willing to take that next step. So, don't underestimate the power of one small action. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the ideal conditions to start. Just start. Take the first step, then the next, and then another. Build your momentum and let it carry you forward. One step at a time, one day at a time, you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. That's the magic of momentum. It doesn't just take you to your goal, it transforms you along the way. Keep moving, keep believing, and trust in the power of steady progress. Momentum will do the rest. Small steps taken daily create lasting change. It might seem too simple, but that's where the power lies. We often imagine that change comes in sweeping, dramatic moments, grand gestures that turn everything around at once. But real, lasting change doesn't work like that. It's built piece by piece, moment by moment, through the small, consistent actions we take every day. It's easy to underestimate the power of small steps. They seem so insignificant at first. One workout doesn't transform your body. One healthy meal doesn't fix your diet. One kind gesture doesn't change the world. But what happens when you repeat those small actions day after day? Over time, they build into something far greater than you could have imagined. Consider the process of building a house. No one builds a home in a single day. The foundation is laid brick by brick, beam by beam. It's a slow process, and at first it may not look like much. But with consistent effort, the structure begins to take shape. Eventually, you have a solid, finished home, but it all started with that first brick. That's exactly how lasting change works. It's about laying down those small, consistent actions until they become something extraordinary. The beauty of small steps is that they're manageable. You don't have to transform your entire life overnight. You don't have to solve every problem or reach every goal in a single day. All you have to do is focus on the next step. What's one small thing you can do today to move closer to your goal? Maybe it's making that phone call, writing that paragraph, or choosing to take the stairs instead of the elevator. It might seem minor, but every small step moves you forward. There's also a certain magic in the repetition of small actions. When you commit to doing something every day, it starts to become part of who you are. It's no longer just something you're doing, it's a habit, a routine, a way of life. And habits are powerful. They shape your behavior, your mindset, and ultimately your identity. Think about it. If you read just 10 pages of a book every day, you'll have read over 3,500 pages by the end of the year. If you save just a small amount of money each day, it adds up to a significant sum over time. The same principle applies to any area of your life. Small actions repeated consistently create big results. But let's be honest, there will be times when it feels like those small steps aren't making a difference. Progress might feel slow, and you may not see immediate results. That's when it's crucial to trust the process. Just because you can't see the change happening doesn't mean it isn't. The seeds you're planting today will eventually grow into something remarkable, as long as you keep nurturing them. Patience is a key part of this journey. We live in a world that's obsessed with instant results. We want quick fixes and overnight success. But real, meaningful change doesn't work that way. It takes time, it takes persistence. It takes faith in the process, even when the results aren't immediately visible. Imagine a river carving its way through rock. It doesn't happen in a single day or even a single year. It happens over time as the water flows steadily, persistently, wearing down the stone bit by bit. That's the power of small steps. They might not seem like much in the moment, but over time they have the ability to create profound, lasting change. So what small step can you take today? Maybe it's setting aside 10 minutes to work on your goal. Maybe it's reaching out to someone who inspires you. Maybe it's simply choosing to believe in yourself a little more. Whatever it is, take it, and then take another tomorrow, and the day after that. The journey to lasting change doesn't happen all at once. It's a process, a collection of moments, a series of small steps that add up to something extraordinary. Trust in the power of those steps. Stay consistent. Stay patient. And one day you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. The life you want, the person you want to become, it's all within your reach. All it takes is the courage to take that first step and the determination to keep going. Small steps taken daily truly create lasting change. Keep moving forward. The results will be worth it.